You know that feeling when you walk into a room and realize no one actually cares that you're there? That was my entire childhood. My name is Elena, and for 28 years I was the invisible daughter in a family that only had eyes for one person, my younger sister, Vanessa. Let me paint you a picture. Christmas morning, 2023. I drove 4 hours through a snowstorm to make it to my parents' house. I brought gifts. I brought homemade cookies. I even brought that expensive wine my dad loves. I walked through the door at 9 a.m., snow still melting on my coat. My mom glanced up from her phone. "Oh, you're here." That was it. No hug. No, "Merry Christmas, sweetheart." Just acknowledgement that I existed. Meanwhile, Vanessa was still asleep upstairs. And you know what? They waited for her. They refused to open a single present until the golden child graced us with her presence. She came down at noon, in silk pajamas, hair perfectly curled, and the entire room lit up like she was royalty. My dad practically jumped off the couch. My mom squealed. Even my aunt and uncle, who I hadn't seen in 2 years, rushed over to hug her first. I stood there holding my coffee, watching my family fall all over themselves for her. Again. But here's the thing about being invisible your whole life. You start to notice things. You start to see patterns. You start to realize that love in your family isn't unconditional, it's transactional. And I was about to find out just how transactional it really was. So there I was. Christmas Day. Surrounded by family. And completely alone. We sat down for dinner, and my mom had made all of Vanessa's favorite dishes. Honey glazed ham, truffle mashed potatoes, that fancy cranberry sauce from the gourmet store. I'm allergic to shellfish. Severely allergic. Like, hospital trip allergic. Guess what was in the stuffing? Shrimp. When I pointed it out, my mom waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, just eat around it, Elena. Don't be dramatic." Dramatic. That was her favorite word for me. Meanwhile, Vanessa got her own separate dessert because she's watching her carbs. After dinner, we did gifts. I had spent weeks finding the perfect presents for everyone. A leather-bound journal for my dad, a cashmere scarf for my mom, a vintage bracelet for Vanessa that I found at an estate sale. My dad opened his gift, nodded, and set it aside without a word. My mom draped the scarf over the back of the couch and said, "Oh, that's nice," before turning back to her phone. Vanessa didn't even open hers. She just added it to her pile and kept scrolling through Instagram. Then it was my turn to receive gifts. From my parents, a $15 candle from the grocery store. Still had the price sticker on it. From Vanessa? Nothing. Not even a card. But when Vanessa opened her gifts, oh, that was a different story. My parents gave her a designer handbag, the kind that costs more than my monthly rent. My aunt gave her a spa package worth hundreds of dollars. And then my dad stood up, grinning like he'd just won the lottery, and said, "One more thing, princess." He handed her an envelope. Inside, keys to a brand new car. Not just any car, a luxury SUV, fully loaded, custom color, the works. Vanessa screamed. She jumped up and down. She cried actual tears of joy. And my parents looked at her like she was the center of the universe. I felt something crack inside me. Something that had been bending for years finally snapped. But I didn't say anything. I just smiled, clapped along with everyone else, pretended I was happy for her. Because that's what I'd been doing my whole life. Pretending. 3 months passed. I went back to my life, my little apartment, my decent job, my few close friends who actually remembered my birthday. I didn't hear from my family once, not a single call, not a single text, until March 15th. I was at work when my phone buzzed, a text from my mom. "Elena, we need to talk about Vanessa's car situation. Call me when you can." My stomach dropped. Because in my family, "we need to talk" never meant anything good. I called her during my lunch break. "Hey, Mom, what's going on?" She didn't even say hello, just launched right into it. "Elena, Vanessa totaled her car." My first thought was genuine concern. Oh my God, is she okay? "She's fine, not a scratch on her, but the car is completely destroyed." "Okay, that's awful, but at least she's safe. Insurance should cover." "That's the thing. My mom's voice got that sharp edge it always had when she was about to ask me for something. The insurance isn't covering the full amount. And your father and we're a bit strapped right now. We just redid the kitchen and booked that cruise to Greece. I waited. I knew where this was going. We need you to help pay for a replacement car for Vanessa. I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. You want me to pay for Vanessa's car? She needs reliable transportation, Elena. She's got her influencer career to think about. She can't be seen taking public transit. Her influencer career. Right. The career. Where she posted selfies and got free stuff. Mom, I can't afford to buy someone a car. I'm barely covering my own expenses. We're not asking you to buy the whole car, just contribute. We're asking everyone in the family to chip in. How much are we talking about? She hesitated. Well, the insurance gave us $18,000. We need another $25,000 to get her the same model. $25,000. I almost dropped my phone. You want me to contribute to a $25,000 shortfall for a luxury car. For Vanessa. Don't make this difficult, Elena. Family helps family. Family helps family. That phrase. That phrase had been used on me my entire life to guilt me into giving more, doing more, being more. And I'd fallen for it every single time. I'll think about it, I said, and hung up. But I didn't have to think about it. I already knew the answer. No. For the first time in my life, I was saying no. 2 weeks later, I got an email from my dad's email address. Subject line, Vanessa's car fund. Invoice. I opened it with shaking hands. It was an actual invoice, itemized, professional looking, like I was a business being billed for services. Asterisk, asterisk. Elena Martinez. Family contribution required. Asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk. Amount due. $25,000. Asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk. Payment deadline. April 30th. Asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk. Description. Replacement vehicle for Vanessa Martinez following total loss incident. Asterisk, asterisk. At the bottom, in bold. Asterisk, asterisk. Payment plans available. Contact us to discuss options. Asterisk, asterisk. They had sent me a bill. An actual bill. I scrolled down and saw they'd sent it to my aunt, my uncle, and 2 of my cousins too. But when I saw the amounts they were asking everyone else for, my blood turned to ice. Aunt Maria, $3,000. Uncle Joe, $2,500. Cousin Rachel, $1,500. Cousin Mike, $1,000. And me? $25,000. They expected me to cover the entire shortfall myself. Everyone else's contributions were just tokens, appearances, so they could say they'd asked the whole family to help. But I was the real target. I called my dad. He answered on the first ring. Elena, did you get the invoice? We wanted to make it official so there's no confusion. Dad, you're asking me for $25,000. That's more than half my annual salary. Well, you're doing well for yourself. You've got that job. That apartment. You can afford to help your sister. Why am I being asked for so much more than everyone else? Silence. Then, because you're family, Elena, and family takes care of each other. There it was again. Dad. I gave Vanessa a $200 bracelet for Christmas, and she didn't even open it. You gave me a $15 candle. Now you want $25,000 from me. Don't be petty. This is about your sister's well-being. Petty. I was being petty. I hung up. I sat there in my apartment, staring at that invoice. And something inside me shifted. I had spent my entire life trying to earn their love. Trying to prove I was worthy. Trying to be good enough. And I never would be. Because in their eyes, I wasn't the daughter who deserved gifts and attention and love. I was the ATM who deserved bills. So I decided something right then and there. If they wanted to treat me like an ATM, I'd show them what happens when you drain an account dry. I was done being invisible. It was time to take action. I'm not a vengeful person by nature. Really, I'm not. But I'm also not stupid. And when someone tries to scam you out of $25,000, you don't just roll over and take it. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I started digging. First, I called the insurance company. I pretended to be Vanessa and said I needed a copy of the claim for my records. The representative was helpful. Too helpful. She sent me everything. And that's when I found the first lie. The insurance payout wasn't $18,000. It was $32,000. $32,000. That meant my parents had already pocketed $14,000 and were now asking the family for another $25,000. They were running a scam on their own family, but it got worse. I pulled up Vanessa's social media. I hadn't checked it in months because, honestly, watching her perfect life was exhausting. But now, I scrolled back to late February, right around when she supposedly totaled her car. There were photos, lots of them. Vanessa at clubs, Vanessa at brunches, Vanessa at beach resorts. And in every single photo, her car was fine, parked in the background, gleaming and perfect. I zoomed in on one photo dated March 10th, 5 days before my mom texted me about the totaled car. The car was pristine. So what really happened? I called my cousin Rachel. She lived in the same city as my parents and Vanessa. Rachel, hey, it's Elena. Random question. Do you know anything about Vanessa's car accident? Oh yeah, I heard about that. So weird. But I saw her driving it just last week. My heart stopped. Last week? Are you sure? Positive. I was at the grocery store, and she pulled up next to me. Same car. She even waved. I thanked her and hung up. Let me get this straight. Vanessa's car wasn't totaled. It wasn't even damaged. My parents were lying about the accident, pocketing the insurance money, and trying to squeeze the family for $25,000 more. But why? I dug deeper. I looked at my parents' social media, that fancy kitchen renovation, that cruise to Greece, that new patio furniture. They weren't strapped for cash. They were living it up. And then I found the smoking gun. A Facebook post from my mom, dated 2 weeks ago, gushing about the amazing investment opportunity they'd just gotten into. A real estate flip. A house they were renovating to sell. They'd dumped their savings into it. And now they were trying to use me and the rest of the family to fund Vanessa's lifestyle while they waited for their investment to pay off. I sat back and laughed. Actually laughed. They thought I was the easy target, the doormat, the daughter who would do anything for their approval. They had no idea who they were messing with. Here's what people don't understand about being invisible your whole life. You become an observer. You learn how people work. You see their patterns, their weaknesses, their pressure points, and you learn how to use that information. I spent 3 days building my case, documents, screenshots, phone records, everything I needed to expose what my parents were doing. But I didn't want to just expose them. I wanted them to feel what I'd felt my entire life. Dismissed, underestimated, invisible. So I played along. I replied to my dad's email. Hi, Dad. I've been thinking about the contribution for Vanessa's car. You're right, family does help family. I'd like to meet in person to discuss payment options. Can we do Sunday dinner at your place? I'll bring dessert. His response came back in under a minute. That's wonderful, Elena. We're so proud of you for stepping up. See you Sunday at 6. Proud of me for agreeing to give them $25,000. Not proud of my career. Not proud of my character. Proud that I was finally useful. Sunday came. I showed up at 5:45, 15 minutes early, carrying a homemade apple pie. My mom opened the door. Elena, come in, come in. Vanessa's here too. We thought it would be nice to have a family dinner to discuss everything. Of course, Vanessa was there. She needed to watch me get fleeced in person. We sat down to dinner. My mom had made all of Vanessa's favorites again. Shocker. Vanessa barely looked at me. She was too busy showing everyone photos of the new car she was already planning to buy. I'm thinking white with black leather interior. It'll photograph so well for my Instagram. My dad beamed at her. Whatever you want, princess. That's why we're all here to make sure you get exactly what you deserve. I smiled. Absolutely. Vanessa deserves the best. She finally looked at me, surprised, like she couldn't believe I was being so agreeable. After dinner, my dad brought out paperwork. A payment plan. A contract. Now, Elena, we've structured this so you can pay in installments over 6 months. First payment due in 2 weeks. Does that work? I pretended to read it over. Then I looked up. Actually, I have a better idea. Everyone went quiet. I've done a lot of thinking, and you're right. Family should help family. So I've decided to contribute. My mom's face lit up. Oh, Elena, that's wonderful. But I have some questions first, just to make sure I understand the situation completely. My dad frowned. Questions? I pulled out my phone, opened my folder of screenshots. So the insurance payout was $32,000, right? Not $18,000. The room went dead silent. My mom's smile faltered. Who told you that? The insurance company. I called them. My dad's face turned red. You had no right to. And Vanessa's car isn't actually totaled, is it? In fact, Rachel saw her driving it last week. Vanessa's mouth dropped open. I kept going. And you two aren't actually strapped for cash. You sunk your savings into a real estate flip and are using this fake crisis to fund your lifestyle until it pays off. I looked around the table. My mom had gone pale. My dad looked like he might explode. Vanessa was staring at her plate. So here's my contribution to the family. I stood up. I'm contributing honesty. I'm contributing a reality check. And I'm contributing this advice. Don't ever contact me again unless you're ready to apologize. I grabbed my coat. Enjoy the pie. I made it with the money I didn't give you. And I walked out. They didn't call. Not that night. Not the next day. What they did do was panic. Because I didn't just walk out of that dinner. I forwarded all of my evidence to every single family member they'd sent that invoice to. Aunt Maria, Uncle Joe, my cousins, everyone. And I wrote a simple message. Thought you should know the truth before you send any money. The response was immediate. Aunt Maria called me within an hour. Elena, oh my God, I can't believe they tried to pull this. Uncle Joe was furious. He called my dad directly and tore into him. My cousins started a group chat where they all agreed. Not a single dollar was going to my parents. The family network my parents had relied on for years, the same network they'd always used to pressure me, turned on them. Within a week, the truth had spread through our entire extended family. And my parents? They went into damage control mode. My mom sent me a long text. Not an apology, a justification. Elena, you've blown this completely out of proportion. Yes, we were trying to help ourselves a little too, but we were also helping Vanessa. You've always been jealous of your sister. And this proves it. You've turned the family against us out of spite. Jealousy, spite. Those were her explanations. Not guilt. Not remorse. Not, we're sorry for lying and trying to steal from you. Just blame. Directed at me. I didn't respond. But Vanessa did something interesting. She called me. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity got the better of me. Elena. Her voice was small, shaky. Can we talk? About what? About everything. I didn't know they were lying about the insurance money. I swear. But you knew the car wasn't totaled. Silence. Then, quietly. Yeah, I knew that. And you were just going to let them scam the family anyway? I didn't think of it like that. I just thought they were helping me get an upgrade. I didn't realize they were taking money they didn't need. I laughed. Actually laughed. Vanessa, you're 26 years old. You knew exactly what was happening. You just didn't care because it benefited you. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? I have spent my entire life watching you get everything handed to you while I got nothing. And the one time I stand up for myself, I'm the villain? She started crying. Elena, please. I don't want to lose you. You never had me, Vanessa. None of you did. And I hung up. A month passed. I moved on. I threw myself into my work. I spent time with friends who actually valued me. I started therapy to unpack 28 years of family trauma. And for the first time in my life, I felt light. Then, out of nowhere, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Elena Martinez. Yes? This is Gregory Chen, attorney at law. I'm representing your grandmother, Dorothy Martinez. My grandmother. My dad's mom. I hadn't spoken to her in years. She lived in a nursing home upstate and had severe dementia. Is she okay? She passed away 2 weeks ago. I'm very sorry for your loss. My heart sank. I hadn't been close to her, but still, she was family. I'm calling because you're named in her will. I froze. I'm what? Your grandmother left you a significant inheritance. I'd like to arrange a meeting to discuss the details. 3 days later, I was sitting in Mr. Chen's office, staring at legal documents I couldn't quite process. My grandmother had left me $150,000. $150,000. She made this will 5 years ago, Mr. Chen explained. She specifically named you and included a letter. He handed me an envelope. Inside, in shaky handwriting, asterisk, Elena, my darling girl. You always had the kindest heart. I watched your parents ignore you for years, and it broke my heart. I couldn't fix it then, but maybe I can fix it now. Use this money to build a life that makes you happy. Don't let them take this from you. Love, Grandma Dorothy. Asterisk, I cried. Right there in that lawyer's office, I cried. She'd seen me. When no one else had. She'd seen me. My parents found out about the inheritance within days, because of course they did. My dad called. Elena, we need to talk about Grandma Dorothy's will. There's nothing to talk about. She left you a significant amount of money. Given everything our family has been through, we think it's only right that you share. I laughed. Actually laughed. Share? Like you shared Christmas? Like you shared your love and attention my whole life? Like you shared your honesty? Elena, don't be difficult. I'm going to stop you right there, Dad. Grandma Dorothy left that money to me, not to you, not to Vanessa, to me. And I'm going to use it exactly how she wanted me to build a life away from all of you. You're being selfish. Selfish. That word. From the man who tried to scam me out of $25,000. I'm being free, Dad. There's a difference. And I hung up. I didn't just keep the money. I used it to change my entire life. I moved across the country, got a better apartment, invested in my education, started a business I'd always dreamed about, and I never looked back. So here's the truth about family. Blood doesn't mean loyalty. DNA doesn't mean love. Sharing a last name doesn't mean someone has your best interest at heart. Real family is the people who see you, who value you, who celebrate you when you succeed, and support you when you struggle. My parents and Vanessa, they weren't my family. They were my captors, and I'd been so desperate for their approval that I'd stayed in that prison for 28 years. But the moment I walked away, I realized something powerful. I didn't need them. I never did. The revenge they expected, the big dramatic confrontation, I didn't give them that. I gave them something worse. Indifference. I removed them from my life completely. No drama, no anger, just absence. And you know what happened? They fell apart. Without me to guilt, to pressure, to use as their emotional and financial backup, they had to face their own choices. The real estate flip failed. They lost money. Vanessa's influencer career never took off. She's still living with them. And me? I'm thriving. I have a life I built. A life I'm proud of. A life that's mine. So if you're out there, listening to this, and you recognize yourself in my story, here's my message to you. You don't owe toxic people your time, your energy, or your money just because they share your blood. Walking away isn't cruelty. It's self-preservation. And the best revenge? It's not destruction. It's your own success. Build a life so good, so full, so rich, with real love and real connection that their absence doesn't even leave a hole. That's the revenge that lasts. That's the freedom that heals. And that's exactly what I did.